Mike Williams' early retirement wasn't just sudden, it struck a nerve. Now Stephen A. Smith is calling him out, and it's getting serious.
He has the right to do it. He also has the right to go to hell away then. Retire. Retire then. Because you left your teammates hanging. That's my point.
Okay. The NFL world is divided, and Smith isn't buying the surface-level story. Was there more behind Williams' early exit than he let on? Here's what we found. The shocking retirement that nobody saw coming. On July 17, 2025, the sports world was sent into absolute chaos when Mike Williams, the Los Angeles Chargers veteran wide receiver, announced his retirement from the NFL at just 30 years old. To understand the magnitude of this decision, we need to dive deep into who Mike Williams really was. Standing at 6'4" and weighing 218 pounds, Williams was the epitome of what every NFL team dreams of in a wide receiver. Selected 7th overall by the Los Angeles Chargers in the 2017 NFL Draft out of Clemson University, Williams was supposed to be the franchise cornerstone that would elevate Justin Herbert's passing game to championship levels. The numbers tell a story of both brilliance and frustration. Throughout his 8-year NFL career, Williams accumulated 330 receptions for 5,104 yards and 32 touchdowns across 106 games. His best seasons were truly spectacular. In 2019, he led the entire NFL with an incredible 20.4 yards per reception, showcasing his ability to be an elite deep ball threat. In 2021, he posted career-high numbers with 76 receptions for 1,146 yards and 9 touchdowns. But here's where the story gets interesting, and where Stephen A. Smith's controversial stance begins to make sense. Williams' career was plagued by an almost comical series of injuries that would make even the most optimistic fan question his long-term viability. His rookie season in 2017 was derailed by a herniated disc in his lower back, causing him to miss the first 6 games. In 2022, he suffered a back fracture. Then came the devastating blow in 2023, a season-ending ACL tear in Week 3 that limited him to just 3 games. The 2024 season was supposed to be Williams' redemption story. After being released by the Chargers in a cost-cutting move, he signed with the New York Jets on a 1-year deal worth up to $15 million. But instead of a triumphant return, we witnessed what can only be described as a professional nightmare. The chemistry with quarterback Aaron Rodgers was non-existent, leading to one of the most publicly embarrassing moments of Williams' career when Rodgers criticized him for running the wrong route, resulting in a game-clinching interception against the Buffalo Bills. His stint with the Jets was so disappointing that he was traded to the Pittsburgh Steelers on November 5th, 2024 for just a 5th-round pick. Across both teams in 2024, Williams managed only 21 receptions for 298 yards and 1 touchdown in 18 games, numbers that were frankly embarrassing for a player of his supposed caliber. Then came the plot twist that nobody saw coming. In March 2025, the Chargers re-signed Williams to a 1-year, $6 million contract, bringing him back to where it all started. It seemed like the perfect redemption story. A veteran returning home to finish his career on a high note with his original team and beloved quarterback Justin Herbert. But fate had other plans. Williams was placed on the physically unable to perform P-UP list on July 14, 2025, due to an undisclosed off-season injury. The team initially described it as minor, with expectations of a quick return. However, what happened next shocked everyone involved.
Kind of a stunning development. Veteran wide receiver Mike Williams, he bounced around with teams, but obviously got to start with the Chargers. He's back with them. Told the team that he plans to retire.
Whoa.
Walking away after 8 seasons, 2,000-yard years, but obviously a career with much promises when he came into the league. Just troubled with injuries, couldn't really stay healthy, put it all together for multiple seasons. Informed Harbaugh and company he is retiring.
Wow. The timing couldn't have been more devastating for the Chargers. Williams' agent, Tory Dandy, informed general manager Joe Ortiz on July 16, 2025, that his client was walking away from football. This came just 1 day before the start of training camp, leaving the organization scrambling to adjust their entire offensive game plan. The reaction from his teammates was immediate and emotional. Justin Herbert, who had developed incredible chemistry with Williams over their 4 seasons together, was clearly devastated. Herbert described the news as heartbreaking and emphasized that when everything mattered the most, he was going to show up. Safety Derwin James called Williams a brother and expressed that he would miss him greatly. But while teammates and fans were processing the emotional impact of Williams' decision, one prominent media figure was preparing to deliver a very different kind of reaction.
It just is health. And, it's hard, man. Being injured, being hurt, it wears on you emotionally.
Yeah. Forget
the physical aspect of it. It starts to mess with you here.
Yes, sir.
Because you start to question yourself, man, am I ever going to be healthy?
Mm-hmm.
Is this the fate is this what I'm going to be resigned to?
Right.
like, damn.
The circumstances surrounding Williams' retirement were certainly unusual. Reports suggested that Williams' decision was influenced by his reluctance to undergo another grueling rehabilitation process. After years of dealing with back issues, knee problems, and various other ailments, the prospect of yet another recovery seemed to be the final straw. Adding fuel to the speculation fire, Jacksonville Jaguars cornerback Jordan Lewis, who played under Jim Harbaugh at Michigan, suggested on social media that the intensity of Harbaugh's training camp may have contributed to Williams' decision. Lewis posted on X, "Mike Williams had one day of Harbaugh's camp and said this it," implying that the demanding nature of the coach's regimen was too much for the veteran receiver. This is where our story takes a dramatic turn because Stephen A. Smith was about to make this retirement announcement all about accountability, work ethic, and what he perceived as a troubling trend in modern professional sports. The stage was set for a confrontation that would reveal not just Stephen A.'s controversial opinions about Williams, but also his broader philosophy about athlete responsibility and the changing culture of professional sports. Stephen A.'s explosive take and his history of targeting players. When news of Williams' retirement broke, Stephen A. Smith didn't waste any time delivering his signature brand of provocative analysis. On the very next episode of First Take, Smith unleashed a scathing critique that would send shockwaves through the NFL community and beyond. His central argument was simple but brutal. Mike Williams was giving up too easily, and his decision to retire represented everything wrong with the current generation of professional athletes. Stephen A. has built a career on delivering polarizing opinions, often targeting athletes with sharp critiques that blur the line between analysis and personal attack. His confrontational style has made him a polarizing figure in sports media, with some praising his boldness and others criticizing his tendency to escalate disputes for attention. But Williams wasn't Smith's first target, not by a long shot. To truly understand the magnitude of this latest controversy, we need to examine Stephen A.'s extensive track record of feuds with professional athletes, because this pattern reveals something much deeper about his approach to sports commentary and his relationship with the athletes he covers. Let's start with one of his most publicized conflicts, his ongoing feud with LeBron James. In March 2025, James confronted Smith courtside during a Lakers-Knicks game, telling him to keep my son out of this in reference to Smith's comments about Bronny James's playing time and NBA legitimacy.
I'm saying we all see what's happening with your son right now. It's kind of hard to watch.
The confrontation was explosive, but Smith's response revealed his true character. Smith later claimed on his YouTube show that James was lying about the context of their confrontation and admitted, "I don't like him and he don't like me." This wasn't just professional disagreement. This was personal animosity that Smith seemed to relish.
When you take it and you get personal with it, it's my job to not only protect my damn household, but protect the players, and I think a lot of the media, including him, and I know he's gonna be happy as hell. He's gonna be smiling from ear to ear when he hears me talking about it again. Oh my God.
But LeBron was just one of many targets. Smith's clash with Kevin Durant in June 2025 centered on the NBA All-Star Game's lack of player effort. Smith warned on First Take that the event could be discontinued if players didn't show more competitiveness, prompting Durant to dismiss him as dramatic on social media. The Durant feud actually goes back much further to 2015, when Smith reported on Durant's potential departure from Oklahoma City. When Durant publicly called Smith a liar, Smith's response was absolutely nuclear.
He also has the right to go the hell away then. Retire. Retire then. Because you left your teammates hanging. That's my point.
The Kevin Durant situation perfectly illustrated Smith's approach. When challenged, he doesn't just defend himself. He goes on the offensive with personal attacks that often cross professional boundaries.
You do not want to make an enemy out of me. I'm not having it. I've done nothing wrong, and I'm not going to tolerate it.
Perhaps most controversially, Smith's treatment of athletes often intersects with sensitive personal matters. In December 2023, Smith commented on Minnesota Timberwolves star Anthony Edwards' private text messages with an Instagram model, which were leaked and revealed controversial remarks about abortion. While Smith's stance was somewhat nuanced, his decision to weigh in on such a sensitive personal matter drew criticism for amplifying the controversy rather than letting it fade. One of Smith's most infamous controversies occurred in July 2014, when he suggested on First Take that women could provoke domestic violence in the context of discussing NFL player Ray Rice's assault case. The backlash was immediate and severe, with even ESPN colleague Michelle Beadle tweeting, "I'm now aware that I can provoke my own beating." Smith was suspended for a week by ESPN and issued an apology, calling his comments the most egregious error of my career. But perhaps no player has felt the full weight of Stephen A.'s targeting more than Kwame Brown. For years, Smith made Brown the poster child for NBA draft busts, repeatedly attacking his his performance and character in ways that went far beyond typical sports criticism.
Whether you win a championship or not, this man was a bona fide scrub. He can't play. No disrespect whatsoever, but I'm sorry to tell everybody the truth. The man cannot play the game of basketball.
The attacks on Brown became so personal and relentless that when Brown finally started his own YouTube channel in 2021, he unleashed years of pent-up anger directly at Smith.
Son of a like you that ain't never did a motherfucking thing in his real life. What have you done to talk so arrogant, you little stupid son of a... You got your coach fired in college. The nigga you talk about the most made you the most money. I'm still better than you. You made your most money talking about me.
Years later, Smith would admit regret about his treatment of Brown, acknowledging the lasting damage his words had caused.
Kwame Brown, I wish I could do that over. I wouldn't do it. I know what I said. I did mean it. I ain't gonna sit here and tell you I ain't mean the shit I said. But I didn't know it was gonna be like this. Remember, I said it before Twitter, Facebook. And I didn't know 15 years later, they won't have memes and video.
The pattern is clear. Stephen A. Smith doesn't just criticize athletes' performance. He questions their character, their work ethic, and their commitment to their profession. His approach often personalizes professional disagreements and turns sports analysis into character assassination. This brings us back to Mike Williams and Smith's latest controversial take. When Williams announced his retirement, Smith saw it as another example of what he perceived as the modern athlete's lack of mental toughness. According to sources close to the situation, Smith's critique focused on several key points. Williams was walking away from millions of dollars, abandoning his teammates right before training camp, and setting a bad example for younger players who might face similar challenges. Smith's argument wasn't entirely without merit. Williams was indeed walking away from a $6 million contract and leaving the Chargers in a difficult position. The timing was particularly challenging, coming just before training camp when the team had limited options to replace him. From a purely professional standpoint, Smith's criticism touched on legitimate concerns about commitment and responsibility. However, Smith's approach to delivering this criticism followed his familiar pattern of escalation and personalization. Rather than simply discussing the professional implications of Williams' decision, Smith reportedly questioned Williams' character and suggested that his retirement represented a broader problem with athlete entitlement and lack of dedication. Mike Williams' legacy and the Chargers' uncertain future. Now, as the dust settles from Stephen A. Smith's controversial commentary and the initial shock of the retirement announcement fades, we need to examine what Mike Williams' sudden departure truly means, not just for the immediate future of the Los Angeles Chargers, but for his own legacy and the broader implications of losing a cornerstone player at such a critical moment in franchise history. To understand the magnitude of Williams' impact on the Chargers, we need to look beyond just the statistics and dive deep into what he represented to this organization. Williams ranks 10th in Chargers history with 4,806 receiving yards, 13th with 309 receptions, and 13th with 31 touchdowns. But numbers alone don't tell the story of a player who became synonymous with clutch performances and highlight reel catches that define some of the most memorable moments in recent Chargers history. His 2018 performance against the Kansas City Chiefs stands as perhaps the perfect encapsulation of what Williams brought to the table. 3 touchdown catches and a game-winning 2-point conversion in a 29-28 victory that earned him AFC Offensive Player of the Week honors. This wasn't just statistical production. This was the kind of clutch gene that separates good players from franchise cornerstones. The relationship between Williams and Justin Herbert was particularly special, representing one of the most productive quarterback-receiver tandems of the Herbert era. Over their 4 seasons together, 2020 to 2023, Williams recorded 200 receptions for 2,924 yards and 18 touchdowns in 46 games. More importantly, Herbert consistently praised Williams for his reliability in crucial moments, famously saying, 50-50th balls are not quite 50-50th with Mike. You need a big-time play. He's going to go up and make it. The emotional weight of Williams' departure was immediately evident in Herbert's reaction to the retirement news. Herbert called it heartbreaking and emphasized that when everything mattered the most, he was going to show up. This wasn't just professional courtesy. This was genuine affection for a teammate who had been a security blanket during Herbert's development into one of the NFL's premier quarterbacks. But Williams' legacy extends far beyond his relationship with Herbert. Safety Derwin James called Williams a brother and expressed that he would miss him greatly, highlighting the respect Williams commanded in the locker room despite his injury struggles. This kind of universal respect from teammates speaks to Williams' character and leadership qualities that don't show up in box scores but are invaluable to team chemistry and culture. The timing of Williams' retirement creates immediate and devastating implications for the Chargers' 2025 season and beyond. The team's receiving core is now described as uber young, relying heavily on players like second-year receiver Quentin Johnston, rookie Lad McConkey, second-round pick pick Trey Harris, and 5th rounder Keandre Lambert-Smith. None of these players match Williams' experience or physical profile, potentially forcing a complete overhaul of the team's offensive strategy.
Good question. I think it's better because you'd want to think that this version of Ladd is better than last season's version of Ladd, even though that was really good. And then you'd assume that QJ is going to take a step forward. The difference would be Trey Harris and Josh Palmer.
The Chargers now face a roster crisis that goes beyond just replacing one player. Williams was expected to serve as the X receiver, a role that demands winning one-on-one matchups on the boundary and creating big plays. Without him, the team must either dramatically alter their offensive philosophy or scramble to find a veteran replacement who can fill this crucial role. The financial implications of Williams' retirement are complex but significant. Williams had signed a one-year, $6 million deal in March 2025, and his retirement may allow the Chargers to pursue a signing bonus recovery. With over $27 million in available cap space, the Chargers have the financial flexibility to pursue veteran free agents or absorb a trade. But the question remains whether quality replacements are available this late in the offseason.
Hey, it's kind of a blank check type of situation almost.
I agree, man. And if you look at the production between Keenan Allen and Mike Williams last season, you would have said Keenan Allen, right? He had a much better season with the Bears than what Mike Williams did with the Steelers and the Jets.
The most obvious solution being discussed by fans and analysts is a reunion with Keenan Allen, the 6-time Pro Bowler who spent 11 seasons with the Chargers before being traded to the Chicago Bears in 2024. Allen recorded 70 catches for 744 yards and 7 touchdowns in 2024. Solid production despite playing in a struggling Bears offense. The emotional appeal of bringing back a franchise legend is obvious, but Allen's age, 33, and recent injury history raise questions about whether he can be a long-term solution. Other potential options include players like Terry McLaurin, Amari Cooper, and Gabe Davis, but each comes with significant costs in terms of trade compensation or salary cap impact. The Chargers could explore trading for McLaurin, who offers speed, route running, and reliability, though acquiring him would likely require significant draft capital.
I'm curious if Joe Ortiz has any interest in making that call. I don't know how you can't, Mario. In the situation you're in right now, you have him who's pissed off in D.C.
The broader implications of Williams' retirement extend to the Chargers' competitive outlook in one of the NFL's toughest divisions. The AFC West features the defending champion Kansas City Chiefs, who benefit from Williams' absence as their secondary faces less pressure from deep threats. This could make it easier for the Chiefs to maintain their divisional dominance while the Chargers struggle to replace Williams' production. Head coach Jim Harbaugh's offensive philosophy may actually help mitigate some of the impact of Williams' departure. Under Harbaugh and offensive coordinator Greg Roman, the Chargers emphasize a run-heavy offense that prioritizes play action and shorter passing routes. This approach could reduce the immediate pressure on inexperienced receivers while the team searches for long-term solutions.
Oh, dude, I think there's a lot of pressure on Omari and Hampton, and I think he's welcome the pressure. If you've seen his interviews or talking to the media at the Chargers facility, he's like, this is what I live for.
The development of younger receivers now becomes critical to the Chargers' future success. Quentin Johnston, the 2023 first-round pick, showed improvement in his second season but has yet to prove he can handle a WR1 role. Trey Harris, a second-round rookie from Ole Miss, who signed his contract shortly after Williams' retirement, brings size and strong ball skills but must quickly adapt to the NFL level. The psychological impact of Williams' retirement on the team cannot be understated. His departure, combined with the earlier exit of Keenan Allen, leaves the receiver room without a seasoned veteran voice. This leadership void could impact team chemistry and the development of younger players who were counting on Williams' guidance. Williams' retirement also highlights broader trends in professional sports regarding player autonomy and health awareness. His decision to prioritize long-term well-being over short-term financial gain reflects a growing understanding among athletes about the lasting consequences of their careers. This follows similar decisions by players like Andrew Luck, who retired early, citing concerns about the physical and mental toll of professional football. Looking ahead, the Chargers face several crucial decisions that will determine their immediate competitiveness and long-term success. They must decide whether to pursue an expensive veteran replacement, trust their young receivers to step up, or completely revamp their offensive strategy to accommodate their new personnel. Each option carries significant risks and potential rewards. The franchise's ability to attract and develop talent will be tested in ways they they haven't experienced in recent years. General Manager Joe Ortiz's strategic vision will be scrutinized as fans and analysts judge whether the team can maintain its playoff competitiveness without Williams. For Mike Williams himself, his legacy will be complex and multifaceted. While his career was undeniably shortened by injuries, his impact on the Chargers organization and his relationships with teammates like Herbert and James ensure he'll be remembered fondly by those who knew him best. His highlight reel catches, clutch performances, and professional approach to adversity created a foundation of respect that transcends his statistical accomplishments. The question now becomes whether the Chargers can honor Williams' legacy by continuing to compete at the highest level without him. The 2025 season will serve as the ultimate test of the organization's depth, coaching, and ability to adapt to unexpected challenges. Williams may be gone, but the standard he set for professionalism and clutch performance will continue to influence the franchise for years to come. Ultimately, Mike Williams' retirement represents both an ending and a beginning. The end of one of the most talented but injury-plagued careers in recent Chargers history, and the beginning of a new chapter that will test every aspect of the organization's commitment to excellence. How they respond to this challenge will define not just their 2025 season, but potentially the trajectory of the franchise for years to come. Enjoyed this video? Hit any of the suggested cards on your screen to check out more.